Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report 206, titled, What If the Devils Did Nothing? It's a happy July 3rd, Sunday afternoon on the East Coast. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu. On a busy Sunday. Not really. I feel lazy today. So I wrote an article on pucksandpitchforks.com stating, what if the Devils did nothing this offseason? Just absolutely nothing. What would the team look like? They save their salary cap money for next season. They don't spend their ammunition of trade assets. They let the team mature for another season. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, a year older, will be a year better. Not getting Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey, which, by the way, I did write a blog on Hockey Buzz, my Raising Hell blog on Hockey Buzz about Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau. Go check it out. But on pucksandpitchforks.com, my article, what if the Devils did nothing? Defensively, the core four will be back if the Devils did nothing. Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves, Jonas Siegenthaler, Damon Severson would be back. Ty Smith would be back. But Ty Smith, we're looking for some production out of Ty Smith. Had a horrible sophomore year, making mistakes, got benched. Did respond for a couple games, but went back to the same old Ty Smith. What if the Devils did nothing? Tom Fitzgerald said, nope. We'll just wait for next year. Just wait for next year to do something. But Johnny Gaudreau, some free agency. Interests from the Islanders and Flyers. Metropolitan Division rivals. Ramona Rice says, let's go Devils. Happy Devils Sunday to you, Ramona. What if Tom Fitzgerald, just like how I feel right now, be lazy and just do absolutely nothing? Goaltending situation would be interesting. Mackenzie Blackwood would get a fair shot to show what he can do, because it's really time to put up or shut up for Mackenzie Blackwood. Excuses galore by the media and the Devils saying, he's hurt, which is true. To be fair to Mackenzie Blackwood, it wasn't too long ago that Mackenzie Blackwood was getting a hard look at by Team Canada for the Olympics. Richard Slenko, hello. He's in Delaware right now. I'm in beautiful New Jersey. Talking Devils hockey. Doing nothing right now. But what if the Devils did nothing this offseason? Stand pat. You know the fans would be pissed. Absolutely pissed off. You got to do something, especially when you've got some cap money to work with. But I will say, though, from the goaltending position, it may be best that the Devils do nothing, because they do have Mackenzie Blackwood. Jonathan Bernier, to me, is out of the picture. Akira Schmid and Nico Dawes should give it a shot in training camp. But I think right now with the Devils, I don't want to see them overpay for a goaltender. And I also don't want to see another scenario of a Jonathan Bernier and Corey Crawford where they just really amounted to nothing. I know that Jonathan Bernier had an injury. I understand that Corey Crawford, had some personal issues, which I'm glad eventually he spoke up. You just don't want someone in net that really doesn't want to be there playing. Shane Van Sickle disagrees, says that they should at least need to address the goaltending. As long as you don't overpay and it's a good move. But the topic right now is, what if the Devils just did nothing? Defensively, they've got the core four, like I said. The forwards, Andreas Janssen, also known as Andre Johnson, on Devils After Dark with Scotty of Sirius XM and I. He's on a contract year. Tomas Tatar, contract year. Will be unrestricted free agents. Now, obviously, if the Devils did nothing, they still would have to draft. I mean, you can't really absolutely do nothing. They do need to select 2 assistant coaches to fix the mess of the power play and special teams penalty kill. John writes, the Canadian press is hyping Slavkovsky to assist the Habs in a trade scam with the New Jersey Devils to swap picks with additional assets. The Habs will take right regardless. Fitz be smart. I think Tom Fitzgerald's very smart. So far, since being GM, other than finding a goaltender, I think a lot of his moves, especially through the draft, have been bold, risky, but pretty good. Look at 2020, 2020. Alexander Holtz, Dawson Mercer, and then he took a risk with Shakir Mohammadulin. Last year's draft, number 4 overall, Luke Hughes, looking good so far in college. And then taking a risk on Chase Stillman, 2nd overall. Got a little lucky at the NHL Draft Lottery. What will the Devils do? Make no mistake, I'm all in it for Logan Cooley. Slavkovsky got size, skill, impressive on the international stage. Shane Wright, consensus, pretty much the consensus best available at number 1. But the teams are leaking, overhyping. I'm sure the Devils are guilty of it too. But really, in my mind, the Devils at number 2, I think the worst thing that they can do for themselves is trading the pick. Because if they do, they better get something in return that is good short-term and long-term. And what's nice is the Devils have the salary cap space. They do have flexibility. They do have options. Vinny Roskowski says, trust the process has been the slogan for too long. Yeah, but, the trust the process comes from the 76ers. We just adopted it because we needed to numb the pain of all this losing, hanging on to a fairy tale hope that they can get this thing turned around back then. So that's where that term came from. Eric says you cannot go into the season with the same goalie tandem. You'd Probably have to look at Campbell or Husso, 5-year, $5 to $6 million per. Yeah, again, it was just a topic that I wrote about. What if the Devils did nothing? Like, what if they did absolutely nothing? Now, in full disclosure, I think it'd be stupid if they did nothing. But it also gives you an honest evaluation of where the team is if they did nothing, realistically. And it shows what they would have to deal with if they were not able to add a player through free agency or make a trade. Would it be a big mistake? Yes, because I think there's some good players out there. But some of their needs, like at the goaltending position, would you want a average goaltender and overpay? Or do you want to wait? Let Nico Dawes have another year at the AHL level. Let Jonathan Bernier's contract run out. Do you think that the Devils with a goaltender, would they be in the playoffs with this team? That's another question to ask. Would they? But at the same time, the Devils need to start building a winning culture. And if the upper management decides to do nothing, stand pat, the optics looks terrible in front of their own fans, the paying customers, but also the players themselves are going to wonder, like Dougie Hamilton, why did I even sign this contract? But here's hope. Jack Hughes will start his 8-year deal this upcoming season. That should be an attraction for Johnny Gaudreau. Now, Johnny Gaudreau, this free agency, is going to command big dollars because he can. He's coming off of a career year, 40-goal, 115-point season with the Calgary Flames. Calgary's still in it, by the way. But right now, Gaudreau is weighing his options. The longer this takes, the better chances that another team aside from Calgary will pick up Gaudreau. And the Devils have the cap space to weaponize that. If the Flyers and Islanders were that serious to go after Gaudreau, they're going to have to absolutely overpay because the Devils actually have the money to overpay at their disposal. That's one of the great assets of having salary cap space. And you Devils fans deserve it because you've suffered those lean years of not really spending any money for good reason. You're rebuilding. What would the Devils offer Gaudreau? Gaudreau would have to take a couple steps back in his quest to win a Stanley Cup. Devils obviously been one of the league's worst in the standings. Doesn't sound too enticing, but a Jack Hughes 8-year contract definitely sounds enticing if you're willing to take the lumps and sign in New Jersey. If you're Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau. Got to give Tom Fitzgerald credit. He sold Dougie Hamilton a bill of goods, got the biggest prized defenseman in free agency, and beat out everybody in the league, willing to overpay because he did have the cap space to overpay. Would that be enough of Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier in New Jersey to attract Johnny Gaudreau and be part of this foundation that they're building right now in New Jersey? Shane Finsickle asks Sam question, all things being equal, who would you want on the Devils, Gaudreau or DeBrincat? Good question, because Gaudreau is 29 years old. He's in his prime. Alex DeBrincat, 26, but you're going to have to fork over some assets to get him. So let's weigh the pros and cons between Johnny Gaudreau and Alex DeBrincat. Gaudreau, it's just money, baby. It's just money. And you can work that contract, that the average value of the contract, you can do all sorts of things. 24, says Shane Fensickle. Alex DeBrincat. So you're talking somebody that's in his prime, in Johnny Gaudreau, speed demon, a Jersey guy as well. I know he's South Jersey, which gives the Flyers probably the more sentimental value in this, unfortunately. But I'll tell you, if you sign Johnny Gaudreau and it's just money, the Devils are the big winners here. You keep that second overall pick. You keep drafting. You don't need to make the trade for Alex DeBrincat because you've got Johnny Gaudreau and Jack Hughes for the next X amount of years lighting up the league. But he is 29, and he does have options other than the New Jersey Devils. Alex DeBrincat, what Chicago is asking for, he's a proven 40-goal scorer, has done it twice. And also, in fairness to him, with the COVID shortened seasons, he could have had more. 5'7", small guy, plays big. But you would have to give up assets to get DeBrincat, and you would have to overpay. I'd rather overpay with money because that could be traded off if it didn't. You could trade Gaudreau a few years down the line if it just didn't work out. You may have to eat some of the salary, but that's just money. You're just not giving up your assets in terms of young talent. Donnell Weaver is asking, do you want the Devils to trade the number 2 pick or stay at number 2 and draft a player? Draft a player. Draft a player. Stick with the program. Draft. Now, you can make the argument, well, it's a crapshoot. You may accidentally have a Nolan Patrick on your hands at number 2 overall if you don't draft well. But I'd be willing to take that risk. Just remember what Tom Fitzgerald said a while ago, that these are just not draft picks. They're human beings. They're players. I believe that a second overall, whoever that may be, will help the New Jersey Devils. Maybe not so much in the short term, but the long term. While you have Luke Hughes, Chase Stillman, Muhammad Doolin, and soon to be Alexander Holtz possibly contributing at some point in the next couple of years. Big contributors. Dawson Mercer's already contributing. Ari's turned out to be the team's most durable player, knock on wood. Slavkovsky could turn into a Capo Caco, says Shane Van Sickle, but that's my biggest concern. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, look, I don't want to trash Slavkovsky, but the Olympics this past 2022 season was a little different. Remember, the NHL players were supposed to go overseas into Beijing to play. But at the last second, because of COVID, they canceled that. So majority of the teams, the Olympic teams, were all put together at the last second, whereas Slovakia, were, put together as well. And he was able to shine and get noticed. Great for him. But that does not mean that the Devils or even Montreal needs to pick them. You got to look at the long term. Logan Cooley's great long term. Not to say Slafkovsky's not. Shane Wright's great long term. Shane Wright maybe even short term. We don't know. Then you've got the defense. Some of the prospects out there. Should be interesting. By the way, July 7th, Thursday, this podcast will be at Pasta Grill by Enzo's on 1916 Route 57 in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey. Pasta Grill by Enzo's live podcast, 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Come stop by. Hockey on Tap guys will be there. Beer Baron will be there. Shorts guy will be there. Talking Devils hockey, talking NHL, talking draft. I'm sure there'll be a lot of beers on hand. There's a bar. We're broadcasting from the bar inside at Enzo's. And because it's the NHL draft, Devils fans inside. All other fans stay outside at the gazebo. We're not letting them in. This is a Devils podcast. Donnell writes, is Lindy Ruff on a make it or break it season next season? Don't you think, Sam Wu? I don't think the Devils need to make the playoffs for Lindy Ruff to keep his job. I think what he needs is to straighten up the defense and some of the shenanigans with these shorthanded goals and Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier and that third line to progress. I think that will keep his job. But the Devils do need to be in contention in the last month of the season for Lindy Ruff to get an extension. Shane Van Sickle, Sam, where can I get a podcast shirt? You can come to our event at Enzo's, 1916 Route 57, beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey, in the heart of the Mansfield section. You can get a t-shirt there. We've got merch. Hope to see you there, Shane. It's in Northwest Jersey. Some fans live far, far away from the Stone Pony where the Devils are having their wonderful shindig. But you do have an alternative. We're just going to hang out, talk hockey. You can see the behind-the-scenes stuff of the Let's Go Devils podcast and Hockey on Tap. Jim Leahy says, Tarasenko to New Jersey. You know, it's funny. Nick Villano of pucksandpitchforks.com, editor-in-chief, was mentioning about that on and on again on the State of the Fan Address every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. By the way, State of the Fan Address, let me tell you, this Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, it's actually probably going to start 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll announce the new time. Nick is lining up end-to-end of draft experts, guests to come on to the podcast. So Wednesday, get there early. And then obviously Thursday, we'll be at Enzo's from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Donnell Weaver, will you have the 2022 NHL Draft live on ESPN while you guys do your live show? It will be on the TVs at Pasta Grill by Enzo's. It will be on the TV. We will be live doing the podcast. We did this last season. Worked out pretty well. And we're going to have to figure out the logistics here of not rebroadcasting that on live air. But we will have it on. I can promise you that. I've already been to the bar this past week. We're definitely going to be doing something pretty cool. You'll get our analysis and all that while the draft is going on. And it should be good. Plus, I'll be DJing beforehand, afterhand. I don't know how long we're going to go. Hockey on Tap, Billy Dean's a Rangers fan. Little Steve is a Penguins fan. Schwim is a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I don't know if we're going to go that far. Last year we did. We went pretty far. It was a good time last year. It was awesome. We had a really good time. Also, if you go to Enzo's, try the pasta bolognese. The reason why I say this is I did 4 Woo reports. No, I wouldn't say Woo reports. I did a couple Woo reports and a couple game day lives at Enzo's, and I had the pasta bolognese. Devils were 4-0 on the road when I had the pasta bolognese from Enzo's in Hackettstown. So I'm going to recommend that dish just because we need a winner at this second overall. Anything can happen. Trades can happen. They could trade down. They could trade up. They could trade the pick altogether. It's going to be an amazing week here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. And also, check out our podcast pages, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart app, Spotify, Amazon Music Prime, Audible, wherever you get your podcasts, your commute. As it's a Happy Devils Sunday on a July 3rd. Tomorrow we'll be podcasting Independence Day in the United States. It's the Birth of Nation Week. You got Canada Day. You got the United States. It's beautiful. I love celebrating holidays. I don't care what holiday it is. I just love celebrating holidays. Donnell Weaver, Devils need better ownership than Harrison Blitzer. Do these guys want to win? You know, I keep on asking myself that, but you know what? I don't want to poke at the bear. I don't want to poke at him for now. Let's be happy that we've got the draft going on. We got free agent frenzy. And then the season will start on time because of this whole COVID thing. It's kind of shifted things. And then next year on July 1st, on Canada Day, we will have our free agent frenzy like we always did pre-COVID. So go to pucksandpitchforks.com, read my article, What If the Devils Did Nothing? Also on pucksandpitchforks.com, I'll be writing the 10-year anniversary of a certain Devil. I'm not going to name names. You're going to have to read the article on pucksandpitchforks.com. The 10-year anniversary of a certain Devil that couldn't make up his mind where he wanted to be in the NHL as a free agent. The signing that took forever. Pucksandpitchforks.com tomorrow. Also, I'll be doing the Woo Report tomorrow. Tonight, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Let's Go Devils podcast. I think we're going on. I'm not sure. Beer Baron's at a party. Shorts Guy's at a party. Waiting on Scotty to return my text, see if he's on. He's probably still sleeping. Again, you know what Scotty's doing? He's doing nothing, which is the topic at hand. What if the Devils did nothing? Go to pucksandpitchforks.com. Read my wonderful article. And also read my blog on hockeybuzz.com as well. My Raising Hell blog. That's what I named it. I don't know, named it out of nowhere a couple days ago. I'm back on there. I'm glad to be back. You know, I had to deal with some stuff in the past month and a half. You know, the passing of my grandmother. Then being in the COVID protocol, which sucked. I'm glad I'm back. I feel healthy. I'm alive and well. Feels good to be a Devils fan. It's going to be exciting. Just remember, July 7th, 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be at Enzo's, 1916 Route 57 in beautiful Hackettstown, New Jersey, the Mansfield section. Across the street from the mall. You can get your t-shirts there. You can buy them. We'll have our tip jar there. Hey, this podcast costs money. I'm just kidding around, folks. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to Costco. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils. Dropping the podcast in 30 minutes.